All right, and we should be live. Give me just a second to get set up, and we'll get this show on the road. All right, and we're live on multiple platforms now as we get set up. Good evening, I'm David Reimer with the Texas Storm Chasers. It's 6:18 on the 30th of May, 2021. Ironically, I turned 30 today. It's my birthday. But here we are doing tornado coverage for portions of the Texas Panhandle into maybe West Texas here in a little bit. What I'm doing right now is I'm just getting oriented. I was out at a social function, since it's my birthday and all. But we're back here now because we've got some problems. Let me go ahead and say we've got a large tornado down northeast of Dalhart, up in the northwest Texas Panhandle. That's generally moving up towards Stratford. We've got a tornadic supercell north of Tatum in eastern New Mexico. That could be a problem for West Texas. We're going to have to watch additional storms developing over the next few hours in the Texas Panhandle as well. Essentially, we've got a boundary that was produced by storms last night that extends from the western Texas Panhandle, western Oklahoma Panhandle south into the northern Texas Panhandle. The result is we have enhanced low-level wind shear that has allowed the tornado threat to increase with storms trying to develop in the Panhandle. So that is what we've got going on right now. Just about done taking care of housekeeping. And here we go. So again, I'm David Reimer at the Texas Storm Chasers. 6:19, Sunday, the 30th of May, 2021. I turned 30 today. We've got a tornado down right now between Dalhart and Stratford. This is going to be with a supercell, reportedly with a large multiple vortex tornado down. This is over a fairly rural area, which is good, but we know there are plenty of farms and agricultural interests across these areas. This is going to be north of Chamberlain, northwest of Conlin, generally moving towards Mallet and Stratford on 287. All right, so this is over rural areas that are currently north of Highway 54 by several miles. This is northeast of Dalhart. The town of Stratford, which is where Highway 15, Highway 54, and Highway 287 all intersect in Stratford, along with 287 up to Mallet. Y'all are in the tornado warning, and you need to take it seriously. This is a storm that apparently does have a tornado down. It has been described as a multiple vortex tornado, or a tornado that contains multiple funnels out of a larger circulation. So we definitely have problems. We note this thunderstorm southwest of Boise City has multiple tornadoes down. It has twins. So we know storms up here are certainly capable of producing tornadoes, and it looks like they're producing relatively substantial tornadoes at times. We've got tornadoes down southwest of Boise City. We've got a tornado down between Dalhart and Stratford, northwest of Highway 54. Tornado came down at 6:13, is still on the ground as of now. We'll go ahead and read the latest warning from the National Weather Service in Amarillo as soon as it boots into the system. So again, this is the far northern Texas Panhandle. This is well north of Amarillo. However, I do want to point out we have a developing supercell west of Channing, southwest of Dalhart. As we switch over to the which way the wind's blowing mode, we already see broad rotation. As this thunderstorm interacts with an outflow boundary produced by storms last night, we anticipate the potential for this supercell to go tornadic as it moves northeast. So those of you in Dalhart, those of you essentially across the northern Texas Panhandle, heads up, we got to keep an eye out, and that's why we've got a tornado watch in effect. All right, it's going to be the latest update at 6:20 p.m. Central Daylight Time. A confirmed tornado is located 7 miles northwest of Conlin, or 13 miles west of Stratford, moving northeast at 25 miles per hour. So again, we've got a tornado that's been confirmed with this supercell. This is going to be over rural areas about 13 miles west of Stratford, generally moving towards Mallet and possibly as far south as Stratford at about 25 miles per hour. It's going to be a storm track off the hail core. This would have the supercell cross the 287 very near Mallet in about 20 minutes, so about 6:45 p.m. We do have multiple tornadoes ongoing right now with the supercell southwest of Boise City up in the Oklahoma Panhandle. By multiple tornadoes, we've got a report of a large tornado with a smaller tornado rotating around the large tornado. In other words, angry supercell is angry. Same thing goes with the supercell southwest of Stratford. And I want to keep a close eye on the supercell south of Dalhart, west of Channing. This storm is generally going to be moving off to the northeast and is certainly going to try and become more organized in the rotation department. This is the which way the wind's blowing mode. You can already see we have a well-defined mesocyclone with this supercell. Green's moving towards the radar in Amarillo, red's moving away. And this is a situation where this storm could attempt to go tornadic as it moves towards Highway 385 near Hartley. So those of you in Hartley, where 385 and 87 intersect between Dalhart and Channing, just a heads up, the storm's moving into an environment that is supportive of low-level rotation and possible tornado genesis, which would obviously result in a tornado warning. So heads up, it's not tornado warned yet. I think it's probably going to be here by 7 o'clock. Sooner if it continues to try and spin up a circulation. We've got a supercell with a tornado down right now. I'll go ahead and put some roads on here. Keep in mind, we're looking several thousand feet above the surface, so I want folks to be cautious. What we're looking at on radar is not necessarily where this is at specifically at the surface. Thunderstorms tilt. The radar beam does not. As the radar beam moves away from, well, the radar site, in this case Amarillo, it remains flat. The Earth curves. Contrary to flat Earth theorists, the Earth does curve. So the farther away from the radar you get, the higher off the surface the radar beam becomes. So in this case, this looks to be near ATT Lane and Rock Hill Road. But again, it could be a mile or two off at the surface since we're looking above the surface. I want to make that perfectly clear. Those of you in Hartley, those of you in Mallet, those of you in Stratford, this is a thunderstorm generally moving to the northeast at about 25 miles per hour. This circulation, well defined on radar, is about 12 miles southwest of 287 and Mallet, moving to the northeast. So it should be to 287 in about 25 minutes or less. Maybe a little longer, but you know what? We're going to play on the side of caution. We do want to keep an eye on this thunderstorm well west of Channing, south of Romero, south of Highway 54, southwest of Middle Water, generally moving towards 385 and 87 at Hartley. This is a developing supercell thunderstorm that is showing some rotation and is generally moving into an environment supportive of tornado genesis. Again, the problem we have this afternoon as we head into this evening is we've got a boundary, an outflow boundary that was produced by the tornadic supercell last night that passed just west of Boise City. That boundary has enhanced low-level wind shear along it, and as thunderstorms interact with that outflow boundary, they are becoming tornadic. We've had multiple storms in southeast Colorado. The Oklahoma Panhandle produced tornadoes. We just had a tornado west of Stratford that's no longer down, apparently. And as these storms west of Channing move northeast towards that boundary, there is certainly the potential they could become tornadic. So we want folks up there to maintain situational awareness. This thunderstorm currently well west of Morden, west of Whiteface, is generally moving towards those two areas. So we could have a tornadic supercell in eastern New Mexico. Here, I'll try and get more specific. Near Crossroads in eastern New Mexico, move towards Bledsoe, Lehman, Morden, and Whiteface over the next 1 hour. This storm currently has a history of producing strong low-level rotation, a possible tornado. And we'll go back up to the northern Texas Panhandle storms and the Oklahoma Panhandle. The Oklahoma Panhandle, obviously not Texas, but you know what? We're going to talk about it anyway. We've got strong rotation and confirmed tornado with this thunderstorm not too far southwest of Boise City. This is going to be about 10 miles southwest of Boise City up in the Oklahoma Panhandle. Tornado is down. Hopefully this circulation will pass south of town, just like the large tornado last night stayed north and west of town. That being said, we've got multiple supercells up in the western Oklahoma Panhandle producing tornadoes due to the presence of that outflow boundary. Farther southeast, we've got a very strong circulation indicated with this thunderstorm about 12 miles west of Stratford. Moving northeast at 25 miles an hour. This could impact Highway 287 from Carrick all the way to Stratford, including Mallet. So we want folks to be careful. I mean, I understand. You can see 50 miles in any direction typically. So, I mean, it's a rural area. People still live there, obviously. Just, you know what, use some common sense. That's all I'm saying. And then we're going to keep an eye on this cell that is well west of Channing, generally moving towards Hartley, as it shows increasing rotation and a bit of a developing supercellular storm structure. So that's what we've got going on right now in the Texas Panhandle in West Texas. I'm going to go ahead and clear off the radar real quick. We're going to turn on current severe weather watches. Now, these blue boxes you see, these are severe thunderstorm watches. The severe thunderstorm watch for the northern Permian Basin and West Texas, shown in blue, goes until 1 a.m. Monday morning. The red box shown, well, in red, up in the Panhandle is a tornado watch, and that goes until midnight. We have multiple tornado warnings in progress across the Oklahoma Panhandle and the northwestern Texas Panhandle. We've got a couple storms in eastern New Mexico that are currently under tornado warnings that will be moving towards West Texas over the next few hours. I'll go ahead and turn on the warnings back on. I'll turn on the radar. And while we're here, we'll talk about some storms going on in other parts of the state of Texas. These are not severe. They are not producing severe weather. They are producing heavy rainfall that can result in some localized flash flooding. We've got some heavy rain falling in portions of central Texas, Round Rock down to Pflugerville to Austin. Heavy rain falling could cause some street flooding. Got some couple of tropical downpours in progress from near Benham to Belleville to west of Eagle Lake to Edna. Again, those aren't severe. Those are just tropical downpours. And obviously, if you got lightning, when thunder roars, go indoors. We don't need anybody on a lake or something getting struck by lightning because they want to play on their boat instead of going to shore when there's a thunderstorm nearby. We've got a couple storms in progress along Interstate 10 from west of Van Horn east to near Iran to Fort Stockton. I'm sorry, I know I mispronounced the IRANN, and I'm sure you're going to send me hate mail, but, I mean, you can do it all you want. I print them out, and I mean, those of you who send a nasty hate mail, you know what I do? Here's what I'm going to do since it's my 30th birthday. I will print out all the angry hate mail. If you send angry letters being like, oh, you're not a true Texan. Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to print it out, and in about 5 hours from now, I am going to use it as kindling for a bonfire in my backyard. Sound like fun? It does to me. Thank you. So, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning well west of Van Horn. And we'll go ahead and actually, let's see if we can get a better radar view. The problem out here is we've got some mountains that always make getting a more high-res radar scan difficult. But we shall do it here. And by the way, I think the, I'm actually not sure what the beeping sound is, to be honest. I think it's folks sending in Facebook stars, in which case, hey, you know what? Thank you very much. We do appreciate it. Lets us keep paying the monthly bills for equipment, and in this case, I just actually bought a small air conditioning unit for this room I'm in because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 monitors currently on, and those are just computer monitors attached to one desktop. And as you might imagine, that in combination with said desktop, which has a couple graphic cards and a processor, it gets a little toasty. So thank you for all of that. We've got a severe thunderstorm moving towards Interstate 10 between Eagle Flat and Sierra Blanca. The potential for ping pong ball size hail, winds up to 60 miles an hour. So Sierra Blanca's well, I don't know why this stinking radar product doesn't show all these towns all the time. So we'll just use the fancy telestrator, which will show off my rather unimpressive drawing skills. At Sierra Blanca, that's Eagle Flat. Generally going to pass between both towns. The potential for ping pong ball size hail, winds up to 65 miles an hour, blowing dust. So you're not going to want to be on I-10 as this storm crosses between Sierra Blanca and Eagle Flat in far west Texas. Let me go ahead and turn off the little circles of doom, and we'll go back up to our possible... Well, I say possible. Let's just deal with what we've got going on. Okay, this is going to be for Yoakum and Cochran counties. This is a tornado-warned supercell that has a history of rotating wall clouds. This storm will be crossing into far west Texas near Bledsoe and Lehman in about 40 minutes. If it continues on its present track and intensity, tornado warnings will be required. And eventually, this storm could come say hello to the city of Lubbock, well down the road. Alright, let's go back up and say hello to our tornado warnings up in the Oklahoma Panhandle and the northern Texas Panhandle. And to my parents who might be watching this, who just called to wish me a happy birthday, hi, thanks, I got your call, I'll call you back when I'm done with this. But very impressive circulation with this thunderstorm, currently coming up towards Stratford and Mallet on 287. Let's go ahead and put little button on there. It'll be to about Mallet on 287 in... Well, here's a new update. Is this thing actually slowing down? Honestly, it is. It's almost being stationary right now. Interesting. Sorry, I'm switching products. I'm going to load a loop over the last several minutes. You can see this storm really hasn't been moving much over the last 15 to 20 minutes. It's back building, essentially, where the updraft just essentially keeps building back to the southwest, resulting in an almost stationary look on radar. So, at some point, I'm sure it's going to start moving again, but it's not yet. So, let's load a loop of the which way the winds are blowing, and you'll be able to see that circulation with the different colors, the greens and the reds touching, essentially. You can see the circulation really hasn't been moving much. So, we're going to have to keep an eye on it, but again, the city of Stratford and Mallet, you're in a tornado warning. This goes until 7 p.m. on the dot. This is for the potential of a tornado 7 miles northwest of Conlin or 12 miles west of Stratford. Storm's only moving at 10 miles an hour right now. At some point it might pick back up, but for now, again, it's just moving 10 miles an hour. So those of you in Stratford, you might have a pretty good look at a supercell right now to your west. Same with Conlin, looking north off 54. Alright, let me open the internal TSC chat. Oh, by the way, we do have live storm chasing video on our on our YouTube channel. Jason's in eastern New Mexico right now. I believe following the storm into West Texas. So you can go watch that on our YouTube channel or our website. So we have 2 streams on our YouTube channel right now. And again, thank you to all those sending stars and super chats. I really appreciate it. It helps us pay bills and cover stuff, but I mean, I'm not here to ask for super chats or stars. I just want to acknowledge and say thank you, and even though I'm not individually thanking folks, we do appreciate it, and I'll try and go back after we are done with this live stream and individually respond to comments. And thank you to all those wishing me a happy birthday. It's great being bald by the time I turn 30. It's a life achievement. But you know what? Now I get to have nicknames like Baldy in Chief and the Weather Leprechaun. So here's the circulation about 12 miles west of Stratford up in the northern Texas Panhandle. The greens are moving towards the weather radar down in Amarillo. At about 20 miles an hour, we have winds moving away from the radar at about 65. So an 85 mile per hour circulation, certainly nothing to laugh at, but something to keep in mind as we look at this. Gotta press a button, gotta press a button. We're looking about 7,500 feet above the surface. So we're not looking in the particular low levels of this thunderstorm. We're looking in the mid-levels. I can't tell you if there's a tornado down this second. That's why there are storm spotters, storm chasers, emergency management, local firefighters, police officers, law enforcement, etc. that are down there to tell us what is going on right now. And I'm just looking at some stuff right now. And again, if you're wondering what's going on in your part of the state, we are talking about severe storms in the northern Texas Panhandle and West Texas. There is nothing going on in West Texas yet in terms of severe weather. We think there will be in a few hours. Primary threat, again, damaging straight line winds, some hail. Can't rule out a tornado or two. Up in the Panhandle, where we've got stronger low-level wind shear because of some mesoscale factors like an outflow boundary, a few tornadoes are certainly possible this evening. The potential for large hail and damaging straight-line winds. Plus, and here's something I don't usually do. I'm going to turn on buttons. I gotta find a button. We've got flood watches across most of West Texas, portions of the northern Permian Basin, and I believe the southern Texas Panhandle. No, I'm sorry, the entirety of the Panhandle. Now, they're different colors for no good reason. Let me see if I can fix that, because, yeah, that's really annoying. Let me turn off the radar. Now, the green boxes you see, or the big green box, this is a flood watch for tonight, where we could see flooding. I realize, talking about flood potential in the Panhandles, West Texas, the Big Country, and parts of the Permian Basin, not exactly where we typically see flooding on a regular basis, at least over the last 5 to 8 years. But, yeah, we could have it tonight as a complex of thunderstorms develops in portions of New Mexico and moves on into the state. And that'll continue into tomorrow. Some locations could pick up over 5 inches of rain, which will definitely cause some flooding problems, not only for roadways, but some streams, some creeks. The Red River's probably going to get pretty cute by tomorrow night. And that'll move downstream, and, well, we'll be dealing with whatever that does for the next several weeks as it makes its way all the way down to the Gulf Coast. But again, flooding is going to be a problem tonight in parts of the Panhandles, West Texas, Big Country, Permian Basin area, Northwest Texas. By Panhandles, I mean the Oklahoma Panhandle and the Texas Panhandle. We could probably just go annex the Oklahoma Panhandle, put it in the Texas Panhandle. That would make life easier. But you know what? We do try to talk about the Oklahoma Panhandle from time to time because, yeah, I mean, y'all are pretty much part of the Texas Panhandle. It's just Oklahoma won't let you go. So, we love you. That being said, Boise City, you're under a tornado warning. You've got multiple storms in your vicinity. We've got a storm south of town trying to produce tornadoes over the last hour, and it has. We've got some activity north of town towards the Colorado border. And then, of course, we've got a tornado warning west of Stratford, west of Mallet. And this storm is starting to move to the northeast again, it looks like. It's not your classic-looking supercell in terms of what you'd expect to see with a classic hook echo, etc. But as we switch over to the which way the wind is blowing mode, you can see, yeah, we got some spinnies. This is going to be a circulation generally moving towards Mallet. Mallet is on 287, about 5 miles northwest of Stratford. And there's a potential rain-wrapped tornado down right now. As we switch back, or as we look at the which way the wind's blowing mode, you can see our circulation has now increased. We've got 95-mile-an-hour winds moving away from the radar. We've got 15-mile-an-hour winds moving towards the radar down in Amarillo. That's 110 miles an hour, up from 85 last scan a few minutes ago. So the circulation with this storm is strengthening. I realize we're talking about mostly rural areas. Those of you in the Rio Grande Valley, 850 miles southeast, are wondering what the heck I'm talking about. Remember, Texas is a huge, huge state. If you divided Texas up into 4 states, those states would still be large. So keep in mind, we're talking about weather up in the far northern Texas Panhandle, and then later this evening we'll be talking about West Texas. I realize we've got heavy rain falling in Austin, Round Rock, Pflugerville. We've got some scattered tropical downpours ongoing across southeast Texas along Interstate 10. We've got a hailer about to cross I-10 in far west Texas. We're talking about the most life-threatening storms. If you want to see what's going on in your neck of the woods, you can do so with the Texas Storm Chasers Interactive Weather Radar on our website at texasstormchasers.com/radar, or in our free mobile app, which also has the radar. So what I'm going to do real quick as I attempt to maintain a semblance of situational awareness, I am going to set up some different products. So again, the primary concern for now is the potential of a rain-wrapped tornado in progress about 10 miles west of Stratford up in the Texas Panhandle. This is a storm that's shown some reorganization over the last 10 to 15 minutes and has shown an uptick in rotational intensities and the rotational velocities. Almost looks like, well, for one, I'm going to get a tickle in my throat that's going to make me choke, so let's try not to have that happen. This storm, if it continues to organize some more, may turn a little more to the right, which would put Mallet and Stratford both at risk, which is why both towns are in a tornado warning. And what do you do in a tornado warning? Well, most of you are going to go outside and try and look at the thing. Let me tell you, it's rain-wrapped right now. The circulation is wrapped in heavy rain. It's just going to look like a big blob of rain. So take that as you will. What you should be doing is going to your lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Put on hard-soled shoes just in case you have damage in the area. You don't want to be stepping on glass, wood splinters, etc. and bare feet. Trust me, not fun. Had a nail go through my shoe last year. Wasn't fun. And then put on a helmet. That's if you have debris that starts flying around. You don't want to get hit on the head by a piece of wood or something without having a helmet on. That being said, I expect most folks up here, honestly, are probably out on their front porch right now trying to look at this thing. And, I mean, it's the Panhandle. I can't necessarily blame them. I love chasing storms in the Texas Panhandle. You can see forever and ever. It's not like East Texas, which is beautiful, but there's hills and trees, and it makes storm chasing a nightmare. But, folks, please, you know what? If you're northwest of Stratford, towards Mallet, between Carrick and Stratford, go ahead and take shelter. I mean, if something's coming at you, it's probably going to look like a big blob of rain right now. So, Again, take that as you will. We've got a strong storm west of Channing, specifically. We'll measure it just so we can get some semblance of where this is. It's about 20 miles west of Channing. We've been keeping an eye on this storm as it moves northeast, since it's moving towards an outflow boundary that could help enhance tornado potential. And we don't see anything that screams strong rotation right now. Looks like we have a downburst signature. We could have some strong winds up to 50 miles per hour. But we'll keep an eye out for any sign of a circulation. I mean, here you've got winds moving towards Amarillo and Green. Yeah, we see some of those reds, but notice how they are essentially north to south versus, well, more tilted. This is a damaging wind or wind signature, microburst, versus the rotational couplet like this. So let's go back south, make sure we're not missing anything, and I guess this would be a good time to say hello. Hello. I'm David Reimer with the Texas Storm Chasers. It's Sunday, the 30th of May, 2021, 6:48 in the evening. We're monitoring a tornado warning in the northern Texas Panhandle with a supercell coming up on the town of Stratford and Mallet. We're also monitoring severe storms in eastern New Mexico, moving towards West Texas, potential for some damaging winds, some hail, and could be dealing with some flooding tonight. We've also got a severe storm in far west Texas that'll be crossing Interstate 10 shortly. The potential for some damaging winds, maybe some quarter to ping pong ball size hail. Of course, as we move back into central Texas, there's no severe storms ongoing, but we do have storms producing heavy rain, tropical downpours for sure. Coming in Georgetown, Round Rock, Hutto, off Tollway 130 at Highway 79. Very heavy rain that could be causing street flooding. We've got heavy rain falling on the southeast side of Austin, southeast Travis County right now. Those storms are not going to produce hail or damaging winds, but they are producing very heavy rain that could cause some street flooding, especially given the fact we had several inches of rain just a couple days ago. Sounds like we've got a tornado down right now just southeast of Boise City, Oklahoma. The radar is over 100 miles away, so I can't tell you what's going on at the surface. But again, spotters reporting a tornado just southeast of Boise City, Oklahoma. That storm's going to be moving northeast, generally probably crossing over 287 between Boise City and Conrad very soon. Assuming it keeps moving northeast, it should cross Highway 64 south of Keys, Oklahoma, east of Boise City. Storm currently about 7 miles or so southwest of Mallet. About 8 to 7 miles west of Stratford, moving northeast. Storm was sitting still for a while. It's moving northeast again at about 25 miles per hour. So it should be crossing Highway 287 in the next 10 to 15 minutes, which would place it at about 7 to 7:05. You can see, honestly, we have two circulations showing up on the weather radar here. We've got one circulation. I'll turn on the little fancy drawing tool so you can see how poorly I draw. We've got one circulation there. We've got a second there. Now, again, we're looking about 7,500 feet above the surface, but as you look at reflectivity, you can kind of see a little bit of inflow or rear flank downdraft there. You can kind of see a pendant right here. So, yeah, we do probably have two circulations. Does that mean we have two tornadoes down right now? I can't say for sure. Whatever's there apparently is heavily wrapped in rain. We'll look at the debris tracker. We don't see any blue donuts that would indicate any sort of debris being lofted. And again, I really don't expect to see a tornado debris signature, because in order for there to be a tornado debris signature, especially up to 8,000 feet, one, it would have to be a strong tornado, and two, there's really not that much to hit out there that's going to get lofted 8,000 feet. I mean, grass and pieces of fence posts, yes, but hopefully we don't have any rural residences being impacted. I know we have folks out there, don't get me wrong, but you generally need a substantial amount of debris to be lofted for it to be seen 8,000 feet above the surface. Either that or a longer-lived significant tornado. We obviously want neither. So it's going to be a tornado warning for Stratford, for Mallet, 287. We don't want anybody going between Carrick and Stratford. And frankly, given the fact we have a second tornadic supercell coming up on Boise City, Oklahoma, nobody should be on 287 from Boise City on the north side all the way down to Stratford on the south side. It would not be wise. We know there's probably plenty of commercial vehicles making that drive right now, but you know what? We saw what happened back about a month ago now when we had commercial vehicles driving on Interstate 35 East south of Waxahachie. We were here doing live tornado coverage with that. In fact, I was doing road-by-road plays telling you exactly where the tornado was, and we still unfortunately had vehicles thrown off the interstate, folks injured and trapped, and it's just not a good deal. So if you know somebody who might be traveling on 287 between Boise City, Oklahoma and Stratford, Texas in the northern Texas Panhandle, give them a shout. Let them know, hey, you've got storms dropping tornadoes. You don't want to be traveling in that right now. And keep in mind, whatever is there might be wrapped in rain, which means you're not going to be able to see it necessarily. It looks like a rain shaft. And again, all those joining us, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Well, I'm going to do real quick. YouTube Live is bad. You think we lost connection. YouTube Live is bad. You think we lost connection.